Listen, I work with a lot of women. I speak to a lot of women, which means I have a vast amount of data on what we are struggling with as a community. Sometimes in silos, sometimes we can feel like, I'm going through this and I have no right to feel the way that I do because I have everything. I have my husband, I have my nice house, I have a car, we go on holiday once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, whatever it is. And yet I feel like this and I don't feel like I should be allowed to. And therefore I don't say it, but I do. Yeah, that one I hear a lot because there is this culture of you should be grateful. There are children that don't even have food on their table and, how dare you feel like this? Look at your life. And, that can be painful. That can feel very isolating. And it's tough because logically you can see the sense in that. The problem with this line of thinking is it's part of the same mechanism that has us self-abandoning from a very young age. I feel like this, but you're not allowed to feel like that. Be grateful. What do you mean you feel like you want more or you don't like this career, you don't like being a lawyer? What do you mean? Do you know how lucky you are? Can you hear how self-betraying that is? I'm giving you my truth and you're saying that shouldn't be your truth. And you're like, okay, I guess that's not my truth. Like, so often the women I speak to are policing their emotions as they're talking to me, a therapist. It makes no sense. Literally, it's my job to hold space for you. Much of the time, they are investing in themselves. This is literally their space to have these emotions and they apologize, they police, they say, but I don't feel like that. I know that I must feel grateful. I'm like, even in this space, you're not allowing yourself to have the emotions. So what are you doing the rest of the time? Got constant self-betrayal. And then you get to the stage where you're like, okay, I'm 45 and I don't know what I like. I don't know what my favorite color is. I just know that I wake up in the morning and it's like, yeah, you've been gaslit your entire life. That's how you get to a stage where you are on the face of it a success. And yet inside you feel diabolical. Your feelings are your feelings. They are valid. It is not a case of comparing yourself to X, Y, Z person. It doesn't make sense to do that. It's all relative. We're speaking about one thing. We're speaking about you. Why are we bringing Sally and Claire and Jane into the conversation? They've got nothing to do with it. At the moment, you feel whatever because of whatever. Let's talk about that without bringing in comparisons. And so much of the time, that's how we've been brought up, with these comparisons. Look at your age mates. Look at this person. They've been driving since or whatever it is. And it is doing a number on the way that we relate to ourselves. It is damaging the connection that we have with our internal GPS that lets us know, I have this desire to move my body. I really want to dance. But apparently that you do that when you're 12 and then after that you need to get serious about life. So I got serious about life, but I want to move my body, but I had to be serious about life. And you keep going on this serious about life. Where does that lead? Because it doesn't mean that you now need to be a dancer and go to, LA and, be a struggling artist and hope for the next paycheck. That's not necessarily, it's not a one size fits all case. Just hearing the little whims, because here's the thing, after 5-10 years of crushing every little whim that you have because, that's foolish, that's childish, I mustn't, you'll stop hearing them. And your whole internal voice is just going to be replaced with the voice of your mum, your aunt, whoever is in the driving seat of your life. And that is the place that I find a lot of women in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, still deferring to what mummy said I should be doing at this stage of my life. I'm like, you're a grown-ass woman. Sometimes their mummy's even living in their house, rent-free, calling the shots. I'm like, Miss Ma'am, you have created a whole career, a whole life, a whole home, and you're still not calling the shots in your own house? What's going on? Like, You are the matriarch. You are a grown-ass woman. People call you mummy, and yet you're walking around like you're 7 years old. You know, your mum can still send you to go and get her a glass of water, and these times she's sat next to the sink. Listen, I'm all for taking care of mummy. Come on, mummy, it's mummy. But there's a specific kind of trauma, and I'm not mincing my words, trauma that we call enmeshment trauma, which I see time and time again, where that very natural, okay, you are an individual, you are about to make your own decision, and it's my time to kind of step back now and allow you to flourish. That transition never happens. And the parents' claws stay in there, and they are puppeteering, and grown adults are still... And it's rife. It's in the culture. And the result is depression, anxiety, 40-year-old children, 40, 50-year-old children that are still trying to get mummy and daddy's approval. And whereas I do feel like one of the beautiful things about being Black is the respect that we have for our elders, there is still something perverse about the everlasting childhood that we see specifically in women. Yeah, men do have some, sometimes mummy doesn't want to let go, and we have some of those sort of, parentified adults or pseudo husbands, but that's a whole nother conversation. What I'm talking about here is the enmeshment trauma, where there's a codependency happening between the mother and child. There hasn't been that separation. Even if they're living separately, it's still entwined, and the lives aren't separate, and that can be highly traumatizing, yet still feel like home. It's a problem. And as I said in the beginning, that feeling of my life is not my own, because it's not.